Welcome back to the workshop. It's been 11 months, which is far too long, but I am back, I'm alive, and I'm fairly healthy, and I've been busy, and there's a few things to show you, a few bits of progress that I've made on the workshop. Here's the first bit of progress. This is the back wall of the workshop, and you might remember that this was a big black hole and it was horrible to look at. And it was all open and dusty and yeah, not very good. Now it's all closed in, warm, sealed, insulated, lined, and I can use all of the volume as storage space. I'm really happy with the shelves up there. I'm really happy that I can store wood horizontally and not on the floor in case there's any flood and it's not in the way. Moving around the room, anti-clockwise, here is another wall that's new. This one has a bit of a dog leg in it, and this wall continues all the way down to the front of the workshop. All of these areas are cut in around the beams and also around pipes and things like that. And that makes for a nice insect-free, draft-free, closed wall. In some places I have to cut around floor joists as well, but that's not a problem. Even up here in the storage area, I've cut around these floor joists, and that's pretty handy. It keeps it all nice and closed. I got the compressor out from under my small workbench and made a little spot for Rusty to sleep. Put a little bed under there, but he still insists on being on the concrete. This end has some interesting detail work. I had to frame in around the door and keep that nice and tight and clean, and I had to frame behind some heat pump pipes which I wasn't able to remove and replace. There is an opening there, but I'm going to box around this whole pipe including that area, so that's not an oversight. You may remember when I made this clamp wall that I framed into a window basically. This is a double skin wall with insulation between, but I didn't want it to be permanently unremovable. So when I framed this, I was very careful to leave enough space for lining and still leave room to get this out if needed. Whoever is the future custodian of this house probably doesn't want the window blanked in. So to make life easy for them, that's removable. As far as general layout, on one side of the workshop we have welding and turning, and surface plate and bandsaw. Some of the tool cabinets, welding table, some metal storage, and the engine crane and my camera stand, and the mill corner is as it used to be. I've also got a few straight edges on the wall, which is very handy. And speaking of walls again, I brought this wall round the brickwork that was fixed over to meet up with the rest of the wall. That doorway obviously isn't yet framed or have a door in it, but that behind there is the grinding room, which you're already familiar with. Nothing has changed in there. In the other end of the workshop, quite a bit has changed. I've now got the table saw, jointer, thicknesser and bandsaw set up in such a way that there is 2.5 to 3 meters of infeed and outfeed, actually 3 or 3.5 on the table saw, and also 3 meters of crosscut space on the table saw. The sled that is on it is too small for it, and the table saw needs some extension tables. In fact, I have planned a video for some of the upgrades I want to do on the table saw. If it does happen, it could be a video for the main channel. I've also done a bit of dust plumbing. I used to have a single hose from the dust extractor that I would drag to each machine, and now I've got some rigid PVC and splitters and blast gates, so I don't have to drag hoses around anymore. I can get dust from the table saw, jointer and thicknesser into that dust extractor. There's still one wall which doesn't have any framing or any lining or insulating, and the door is not yet changed. You've heard me talk about that door a number of times, but this is the last wall to do. You may have noticed that the gym stuff is no longer in this area, and that my surface plate and metrology stuff is in this main room along with the machining tools. Well, I made a decision last year to put this room from a clean room into a gym. It's also got a bit of household storage, so I'll just show you that. So yes, this room has now got my weights stuff in it, and it has a rubber floor, and over here is my wall of storage with all my house maintenance stuff in it, and ladders and work platforms and things like that. So this is very dense storage, very handy. I've got all these things on casters, and that stores a lot, and it keeps all that stuff out of my workshop. Now this TV might seem like a horrible indulgence, but I got it for $100 from Marketplace. It had bad audio, so I think it was a lot cheaper than it should have been. And it's a nice TV, but I added a small amplifier, which we already had, and I found some speakers at the tip shop for $11, and combined they all sound pretty good. So I just need to make some wall brackets for those, and I've got a cheap screen for the workshop. Now I'm not going to sit down here and watch movies, but I would run a YouTube video or maybe an audio book or some music while I'm working, and being able to see the screen from all angles is pretty handy. Well, thank you for watching. Thank you for being patient. Especially thanks to patrons that have been with me since I started Patreon. That's incredible that you're still with me and don't feel like I deserve it. But I am grateful anyway, and I hope to make a few more videos this year to make your subscription worthwhile. And yeah, any questions or comments, leave them below. And if you want me to do a video on any more of this in any more detail, let me know. In the meantime, I think I'll focus on trying to make that video about the table saw story. Okay, thanks again. See you soon.